We acknowledge the Kaurna people as the traditional custodians of the Adelaide region, and we pay our respects to all elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to Behind the Content podcast with myself, Lex.
And me, Mads.
Both experts in content creation with a combined 16 years of experience.
Join us as we bring you behind the scenes of our lives as business owners, deep diving into the rise of iPhone wedding content, aligning with your purpose, the wedding industry and everything in between.
You'll hear from industry experts, talented creators, as well as couples sharing their journeys and insights from their own weddings.
Get comfy and let's grow together as we cover all things wedding content and more weekly.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to episode 11.
Whoop whoop.
1-1 baby.
Yay.
What is going on, everybody? We're in double digits now, for real.
How exciting. Yeah, we're well in. Well, one double digit in.
Two. Because of 10.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Quick maths.
Quick math.
Life
new?
update. What's new, Mads?
You go
What's
first.
going on? Oh, I don't know. Fucking hell. What's new with Lex?
What's new with Lex?
I started watching The Office again.
Oh, I love
that show. It's my favourite show of all time.
We're watching Stay Close.
What's that?
It's a TV show on Netflix.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
any good?
It's like a little bit scary, a little bit.
I was going to say, it sounds murdery.
It is a little bit murdery. And I freaked Robbie out because he...
Why?
he was watching and something weird, crazy happened. Someone died or something. And then I was like,
murder show.
Oh, it's always the quiet ones. And then he like looked at me, but I didn't feel him looking at me. And then 10 seconds later, I look at him and he's still looking at me like, that is so creepy. He's on to me.
Yeah. Should I be on to you as well?
No.
Blink twice if you need help.
That was like 10.
Yeah.
She's really nervous.
If you're watching this.
Send help.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. We love each other. We're fine.
Oh, good. I really don't know. I'm having a mental blank and I should have.
That's what happened on our walk this morning. I was like, what did I do?
I think we just said everything on our walk to the coffee shop this morning. Lol, sorry guys.
Oh,
what did I do? I'm looking at my calendar for help here.
Yeah, I had to do that too.
I had a kinesiology appointment last week. That was amazing.
What happens in that?
So it's not like applied kinesiology, which chiropractors do. This is more like the woo-woo kinesiology, but it's not woo-woo. It's biomechanics, which basically your body's telling the therapist what you need to know and what you need to do. So if you even just look up like kinesiology session, they use your arm as like this lever to tell you
what's wrong.
Yeah, so they go through these certain things, this list of things. So basically, like we sit down, she's like, what's happening in your life? Do you have any aches and pains or issues? Like I had dermatitis.
Yeah. Your skin's looking glowing, by the way.
Thank you. There's a lot of makeup on.
Doesn't look like it.
And we basically got to the root cause of why I have dermatitis all of a sudden because it came out of nowhere. And she's got this book basically that tells you how your ailments or your body issues and aches and pains or whatever it is tie back to certain emotions or things that have been happening in your life. You know, if you're feeling, anxious or depressed, or you have, if you have like certain gut issues or something, like it might be tied to feeling guilty or shame or like all these different things that she lists off all the different, descriptions that it could come under, the book is massive. Yeah. So even for like psoriasis, there's something in it for that. It's like repressed anger.
Oh my gosh.
And all this stuff like creating inflammation in your body. So I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Nuts.
So if you feel like that is something you want to look into, just look for kinesiologists in your area.
Kinesiologist, amazing.
Yeah, she was great. I used Tanya. She's also my hypnotherapist and NLP practitioner, so she also helped me get through a lot of the subconscious programming.
So massive, subconscious.
So I did that 2 years ago, and that literally changed my life. Going to see a hypnotherapist was like insane. Just very cool, very Yeah.
It shook me so
You
much
just
when I found
cut
out
a lot
that,
of ties.
Yeah, which is so
mentally.
important. It really shook me when I found out that your subconscious, like, is
Running
why
the
you
show.
do half of the things you do, or like 90% of the things you do is because of your subconscious.
It is, yeah. 90% of your brain is your subconscious.
That's so crazy.
Programming. Crazy, but it's like, you know, things like, oh my God, I'm dropping these cards everywhere. The way, like, breathing, your heart beating, you know, when you're asleep, all these things, like when you feel a certain feeling in your gut, when you see someone's name or you get a certain situation coming at you, like those are subconscious patterns that happen.
And then it's like the fine line of, do I judge a book by its cover because my subconscious is like trying to protect me, or do I give everyone a fresh slate or everything a fresh slate and just start fresh and let everyone build their own story?
Yeah, because your subconscious is based on past experiences, so whatever it's trying to protect you.
Yeah,
essentially your
for
brain's
some
just
good
trying to
reason
protect you.
usually, but then also not good reasons other times.
But it's part of the reptilian part of your brain. It's that area in the brain that is the oldest part of humanity. You know, it's like the caveman protecting itself, keeping into the tribe, wanting to be accepted and liked and not be exiled, you know, out into, you know, the wilderness where you're basically going to die if you are by yourself. So,
whereas if a client doesn't like you, you're not going to be chucked out into the wilderness.
Yeah. But that's still the programming that we run on, because it is part of your nature. It's your chemistry, you know. So it's just unlearning a lot of things and forgiving yourself for a lot of things. So we went through a lot together over the last 2 years, me and my therapist, alternate therapist. I wanted to do talk therapy, but I thought I wasn't really quite ready yet, because I tried talk therapy before. It didn't really work for me that well, because I just felt like I was reliving everything that I was talking to the therapist about and not really resolving anything for myself. I mean, it's great for other people, but for me personally, it was like,
everyone's different.
I feel like I'm back into the time or the situation of when these events were happening, and
re-triggering.
It was just re-triggering everything. So I was like, I don't feel any better.
Just worse.
I'm just rehashing everything. And living in the past. So
subconscious, in case you missed this is what happened.
Yeah, exactly. No. So now I can, because you talk about things consciously, you know, oh, like that happened, or you're feeling this way because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I get that. But like when you can actually go back into what we did was called timeline therapy. It's a practice within NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And I know this has ended up being on a tangent, sorry, but I was like, it's just really interesting for me anyway. And you just go back into your events and you resolve the issues, or you go back into the negative, like quote unquote negative experience, and end up, when you talk through it in your, you know, your subconscious, because you're in this hypnotic state, you are not thinking consciously, trying to, you know, when someone's like, think of the first word that comes to your mind, blah, 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 like that kind of thing. You know, you're able to then say the things to yourself that you should have heard at that time. And then you kind of reframe it, and then you can look back on this experience either with no feeling, so neutral, or a positive feeling of, oh, I'm glad that happened to me because it's turned me into blah, 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 or whatever. So you actually turn negative experiences that you had negative associations with into a neutral or a positive experience that you can look back on. So through time, through your life,
it gets easier.
And these emotional events become a lot lighter, and you just like cut a lot of these cords, so to speak, and emotional attachments.
They are. You're rewiring your brain. Like
you're literally, that's what it is. It's it is rewiring your brain. So and your programming. Super interesting. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah. I didn't know you 2 years ago, but I love this, Lexi.
Thank you.
I would have loved all the Lexis.
She did the work. So yeah, I had my kinesiologist appointment last week, and it was great. Just for a little tune-up, like, you know, when you get your car serviced kind of thing. That's the vibe. And it felt really good. Got rid of some stuff, and I feel fucking fantastic.
Proud of you.
Good. Much better than last. I think the last episode I was a bit like down in the dumps.
Yeah, you're bright. You're happy. But we don't always have to be bright and happy.
No.
Sometimes we can be
a lot going on.
Yeah, it was a big one. It was a big one.
Yeah, big changes. You know, lots of things going on in the undercurrent. Yeah. Everything looks good on the surface, and the undercurrent.
You always say to me, change is not scary. It's different. Is that what you say? No.
Can't remember.
Because I used to say, it's so scary. And you're like, no, you're not. It's just change. No, it's not scary. It's just change. Or growth.
Yeah.
Growth, yeah.
Yeah, change is growth.
Yeah.
Growth is change.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my life update.
That's a good update.
Thank you.
Mine is not as exciting. What? Reno's
House
some new
Renos.
furniture.
Yeah.
Looking great.
So
I need
good.
to do some pop-up pictures in here. Like, this is what it looks like. This is what it did look like.
Little pop, pop, pop.
Little pop. Yeah, so happy.
Just follow Maddie's account.
It's just follow. It's so bright. Yeah, I love it. I'm like the kind of
So
person
good.
that needs natural light.
Totally.
So it's just really good.
Yeah.
And we're getting a big bin and we're chucking out everything. So if you want anything, there'll be a bin on the side of the road. Come get it.
In whoop whoop.
In whoop whoop. Literally. Sounds like we're out in the country. We're not even out in the country.
It's country for Adelaide.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Anywhere past 20 minutes is far away.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Should we do a card?
Yes.
Yay. All right, cool. I've been shuffling for like 10 minutes now.
I know, they're very
Do you
shuffled.
want to cut the deck? What do you want to do?
You can cut it for me. I feel like this table's too long.
It really is. This doesn't look like we're far away, but we're like, this table's 2 meters long.
We're at like a...
It's actually 2.2.
We're having a dinner, a romantic dinner like king and queen.
Literally, we're so... What are you going to pick? What are you going to pick?
I think I'm going to pick a blue one.
They're all blue. If you're not watching this, they all have the same blue. That's so
Intuitive nudges.
Oh. Wow. Oh, I've got the book here.
You have the book, yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I will read it.
Yeah.
Intuitive. Here we go. Show us the card.
There it is.
Wow. The eye there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third eye. Love that.
Let's bring this back up here so you can hear me. All right. Intuitive nudges. Intuition is the language of the soul. We are all born aware of with a profound sense of inner knowing. Intuition is one of the greatest gifts we possess, which keeps us connected to our higher selves, to the universe, and to our divine spirit. This card comes forth at this time because we are here in the spirit world and hear your request for an answer. We ask you not only to seek guidance from us, but also to listen to your natural intuition that is sending you nudges. The answer is already waiting for you. Love that. You were born intuitive. Everyone is. As life has a way of adding ever-increasing layers and years of responsibility to your physical world, it's often hard to peel back those layers so you can feel, sense, and know when an answer arrives. We ask you to trust and embrace what you're physically feeling as your body works in partnership with your intuition.
This is so weird. What did we just talk about?
Good. Be aware of your dreams, synchronistic signs, books that may come to you, people entering your life, or even numbers that keep reappearing. These are intuitive nudges. Once you learn to trust your intuition, you will see yourself and the world in a way you never thought possible.
Oh,
That's such
crazy.
a beautiful card.
Every time we pick a card, it has something to do with what we have been talking about.
So interesting.
So interesting.
Love that.
Love that.
Okay. Good times.
Cool.
Love saying that word, guys. You know this. So today's episode is episode 11.
Yeah.
As we mentioned. Let's talk about, this is for creators, growing your wedding content business. So intuition, lol. I think this is...
Yeah. You'll know when it's time.
This has come at a great time for us, I think. Basically, this episode is talking about growing your wedding content business and how to train new creators. So even if you're a sole trader right now and you are the only one that is working in your business, I think this is still going to be beneficial to you because you may need that backup person.
Yeah. You may get a request for like an inquiry for the same date that you're already working, and you may wish
and you
that
don't want to say no.
You don't want to say. You probably should if you have no plans in place to actually train yet or have someone sorted. Don't just say yes and throw someone in the deep end. But if your gut is telling you that when you're getting that set inquiry, I think I could do this and I really want to make this a bigger thing, then go for it and start training. And this is all for you.
Yeah, this is so good. So we're going to dive into finding the right fit of people for your business, training them on the job and in workshops, and the delegating that you want to do. So whether you want to go and shoot content and they edit, whether you get them to shoot and you edit, or you want them to do everything, there's different benefits, pros and cons to those things. Maddie can attest to that.
I think I did every single step and I was like,
Maddie's tried it all.
Nope.
I mean, we've all been there. Yeah. So I think it's a matter of getting into what's going to work for you in your groove. And I think the main thing coming from a business owner that has multiple workers, not just for wedding business, for my other businesses, is letting go and learning how to delegate is not the easiest thing ever.
No, it's not. Especially when you're trying to like build a brand and you have these ideas in your head of what you want your brand to be. And it's like the people you hire or the people that you contract on or work with you should have the same idea or knowledge of what your brand is and who you are as a person. And if they don't think that they identify with your brand and you, then they should not be working with you. And if they don't believe in it, they should not be working with you. Like, it's just,
if they can't. I mean, the dream hire is like someone that treats your business like it's theirs.
Yeah.
But it's very rare.
Yeah. Because
no one really cares. And no one will ever care as much as you do.
And you can't let that offend you.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it's so fine.
If you were working for someone else, you wouldn't care as much.
No.
Like, just be real with yourself.
Be real. And, like, I always have the view, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I'm like, I would love to hire people who, if they said to me, my goal is to do what you're doing one day, I'd be like, amazing, because I know for the next few years you're going to put in so much effort, you're going to try, you're going to learn, and if you're a good person, if you're not just coming in to steal everything and be an asshole and like undercut someone once you're out on your own or something. That's not what we're saying. We're saying you have the goals and dreams to have your big business and do your big brand. Then you're my kind of person. But if you're just in there for the paycheck, it's probably not the right fit all the time.
Yeah, it's probably not the best paying job either.
No, it's not.
Just kidding. It's a good start.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be worth
it's better
it.
than working hospital vibes.
100%.
Yeah.
And you get to meet amazing people all the time.
Yeah. So tell us your experience. I would love everyone to get to know how you started out. I know we've talked about where you started from photography into content and how you started offering the service, but how did you start delegating when you made your first hire? Yeah. What were you doing? Because I know there's a few things that I found really interesting when we first met.
Yeah. I should probably like dive into that. What did you find interesting? But then probably everything. You're like, what is this girl doing? No, it was so once I realised I needed to start building the team, I actually started from the point of training people from scratch. Like, I didn't get full-time content creators or part-time content creators on.
No, they didn't have prior experience.
Not in content. And I hired on work ethic, personality, what they're actually like as a human, their willingness to actually want to be involved and grow the brand, which they had all of that, and the ability to learn on their feet. So all of them have been able to do that so well, and I've had like training days, and now we're having the next big one coming up, hence this episode. What else do you want to know?
Well, okay, so when you were having this person, say like your first one or two creators on board with you, what was your delegation system like?
There was none. There was no delegation. It was shadowing, and then after they'd got all the content, I'd get the phone back and I'd go home and I'd be in my editing hole for the 24 hours or whatever.
So were they content creating you, shadowing you when you were doing photo or content?
Yeah, like when I was doing photo, it was a bit of a mix. Sometimes I was on photo and they were getting content like right next to me throughout the whole day. And then as the brand grew and developed, I was like, no, I want them to not be next to the photographer all day. I need them to be able to go off and stuff, because they won't always be with me.
Yeah.
So I was so I was like, now I need to have them shadowing me as a content creator. So I'd go in there like hands off, and then they would do all the content. And then a few weeks ago, it wasn't very long ago, we started actually having them edit. Because I was having like 3 weddings on a weekend or 2 weddings on a weekend. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
You would never have any time to do anything else.
Nah, I didn't. And I've always had my head in my phone. And I'm a big believer of grounding and like being in the moment. And if you're always on your phone, you're just not in the moment. And our job is being on our phone, so finding that balance is really tricky. The screen. So yeah, it's working so much better now, and I'm super excited for the next season because it's already looking really cool.
So good.
Yeah.
So what made you, I guess it's because you were being inundated with editing.
Yes.
How did you find that? So did you have to download everything that they would put on the drive, or because you said they were using your phone, right?
Yeah, they were using my phone. Now that's also what we've changed. I don't make any, I don't contract anyone on with like less than an iPhone 14.
Yeah, cool.
At the moment. Next year, it'll probably be less than an iPhone 15. Like, it just, who knows?
Yeah.
Keep growing. But yeah, now that works a lot better. But they still have mine as a backup. So I give them a backup phone.
You need it.
Yeah.
We know.
Not that it doesn't get used very much, but you know, touch wood, and you need it just in case something happens.
Yeah, or your phone runs out of storage like mine did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Twice on the same wedding day.
Yep.
I was like, I've been paying for this iCloud storage. Where is
it?
Where'd
Contact them again like when in Europe.
I was like, the fuck?
What is happening? But yeah,
Rude.
so then I was uploading everything on all the phones and editing on the phones and yeah.
Did you have a Sunday off?
Nope.
Like,
no days off. I was actually walking out the house the other day. I was like,
oh my God.
hey, this could be my day off because I'm actually doing stuff.
This is nice.
You can pick your day
Having
off.
a life on the weekend. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's wild.
It is. What about you? How did you... what was your story? I feel like we all...
I'm trying to remember. Okay, so when I first started Wedding Creators, I had... so my other business is in social media marketing, hence why we started the business anyway. We had content experience already, which was great. So I basically said to my girls in my lexicon business, hey, I'm starting this wedding content creation business. Would you be keen on getting some more work on the weekends? Like, you know, my girls are working for me like casual part-time hours anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were like, yeah, we'll like help you out. So they basically created the foundation of my creators. So Sophie, Alex, Chloe, and myself basically started as the official wedding creator. So I didn't actually do it by myself only in the beginning. I basically started with a little group anyway, which was great. And I had a few basically before because we launched basically this time. I got a notification that like 2 years ago last week I finished my packages, my first ever packages.
Yes, I saw you posted that.
I was like 2 years ago. What the
crazy.
fuck? Crazy. So did that. Like was launching the business through the off season, so great time to do it.
Yeah.
Better than doing it through the middle of the season. But so launched the business around end of May, early June, and then started training whoever wasn't already with me. So there were a couple of new newbies at the time as well. Then I had kind of built up, and we did some kind of training. We did like a little workshop in here, actually in this studio, and I basically just created a manual of like a brain dump of everything that I would do on a wedding day, my etiquette, awareness of
I was going through mine the other day and I was like,
this needs an
update.
yeah I was like, we don't do settings like that anymore.
It's crazy how much has changed so fast.
It has so yeah, keep updating that stuff. It's wild. So yeah, I basically started with creators in mind already because I had this vision that like we were going to get multiple weddings on multiple weekends, which is what happened. Dream it,
believe it.
When you believe it, you will see it. That was something that I actually heard last week as well. That was, I think Wayne Dyer said it, that if you flip the phrase, I'll believe it when I see it. Flip it to, if I believe it, I'll see it. I was like, fucking, that's brilliant.
Exactly.
So I'm constantly...
Similar to using language like when, and apparently using the word but. You should never use the word but in your language.
Or never use the word never. Or always. Like when you're like, I'm always late. Like, okay, you're just like literally
cementing
reprogram that into your brain of like, you have this bias now. Anyway.
Like I'm a very clumsy person, and every time someone reminds me of it, I'm like, stop it. You're putting it in my brain again.
Yeah, I'm not clumsy.
Not clumsy.
I'm just in a
It's
rush.
cutesy. Get it right.
It's cute. She's cute, yeah. So that's how we started out, basically. Yeah. And then everyone was just learning on the job from there. We had...
Best way to learn.
Yeah. And we had some weddings between September and January. And then we had a styled shoot here in January that it was like a 40-degree day.
Oh, wow.
It was fucked. It was like literally just after New Year's.
Yeah.
And we did like a little bridal shower mock-up.
Cute.
Which was really cute. So we did like a table on this table. We did like a cake. We had the backdrops.
Yeah.
And then we did a mock couple photo, like
What's the best way to do it?
Bride and groom. But they were actually going to get married. It was really cute.
Oh, wow. So they would have the chemistry. That's so good.
So they were getting married in a few weeks. And she still uses the photo we had from that shoot because we had a photographer and videographer there. So my whole thing was, let's bring in a photo video team and work with them. I want you guys to actually be aware with no stakes because it's not an actual wedding day.
Yeah.
I want you to be aware of them. Yeah. Because they're the directors. Yeah. You're just kind of hovering little ninja.
I never really put two and two together. Well, I did now, but back in the day, I never really considered how lucky I was that I was being able to train the girls on the job because I was the photographer. Like,
totally.
I could just be like, don't do that, or maybe don't stand over there, or the videographer's going to be there.
Or you're in my shot.
Yeah, but for me that was normal. But I'm like, now I'm building the business. I'm like, that can't happen all the time.
No.
So now I do have to do
very
stuff like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it was really cool. So we got who was a photographer? Billy Good Lovin'.
Yeah, she's so good.
And her partner.
Talent.
Yeah, and he was on video, and they were just lovely. Just such a vibe. So if you're going to do something like this, like a styled shoot, I would really recommend doing it if you can find the space. It's going to cost you a bit of money, probably. Or you can, you probably have to hire the space if it's like a studio. I was lucky enough, this is my studio, so we could use it how I want to use it. But, a styled shoot implies to suppliers that it's free. It's basically so that they can use, so if you don't know what a styled shoot is, it's basically a creative curation of every supplier coming together for a common theme. So if there's like a Euro vibes wedding kind of thing,
and the payment is tags.
The payment is exposure, which is I know you can't pay rent with exposure, but the goal is to create the work that you want to book. Yeah. So for a florist, for example, they might want to move away from doing the whites and the greens and move into colour or like the reds or something like that.
They want somewhere to practice that's safe.
They want to get creative because they can't actually do that with their couples.
No.
Because their couples are booking them for something specific.
Unless you get some dream couple that says, I absolutely do not care, do whatever you like.
Do whatever you want, which is never happens. Which is fine because, you've got a colour theme or you've got a type of vibe that you want to achieve. But for someone like that, you can reach out to your suppliers, put together a styled shoot. I've recommended that for one of my one-on-one clients to put that together in the off-season. Yeah,
it's good for them to
need content.
Push them to network as well and reach out.
Absolutely. It's like network is your net worth, okay? So you need to expand your network as much as possible because that is going to expand your horizons for the amount of jobs that you can get. Definitely. And the credibility as well. So you want to increase the amount of word of mouth that you can get in your city or state. Yeah. So important. Booking a styled shoot, I think, it's going to pay off a lot more than if you're just trying to get couples, and this kind of ties in with things that we're going to be talking about, landing your dream couples, how to market yourself. So bringing it back to
because you're probably your first wedding, unless you're very lucky, isn't going to be no. How lucky are you going to be if your dream ideal couple wedding everything matches up with your first ever wedding? It's and your second ever wedding, your third ever wedding. It takes a while to get there.
It does, yeah. We're getting dream couples now, but it's not so frequent that obviously every couple we get is a dream. Yeah. We love them. But the dream, I shouldn't say dream couple, more like the dream wedding situation, the style, you have a certain, the way that your brand is, you are more directed to a certain
dream team, who's going to be there,
team.
The people you're working with is a big thing.
Exactly. The vibe, the theme, the wedding spectrum is crazy. So just thinking about where you land on that spectrum.
And when you're putting this stuff on your website, being mindful of how much you're putting in that's styled shoot and how much isn't. But I guess it's not as important as it is for content as it is for photos. Like I know in the photography industry it's very like tricky because you've got so much time to plan out these poses and movements and locations.
It's not real.
It's not real.
It's
like
not a real wedding.
No, but for content I guess you could probably use more of that because you're not the one planning or posing and doing all those things. So
yeah, it doesn't look any different.
It doesn't look like you're faking anything. No.
Exactly right. So when you are training new creators, that's something that you could do. Or you can just bring them out on the jobs with you. That's what we do now. I don't have a styled shoot every 6 months because that would be so much work. We are doing a training day though. So yeah, January that year we did the styled shoot. And then we did a training workshop in December. Just gone. So December 2024.
Oh, good.
And I recorded that workshop. So basically from the brand Bible, like the manual that I created early days, then I created some slides and put it into a Zoom workshop, recorded that, and every new creator has to watch it. So it's like 2 hours long. So I pay them to watch it, obviously, pay for the training. So there's these things that, you know, as a creator, if you're a sole trader and you're not making a lot of money, these things might seem expensive, but trust me, it's going to pay off in the long run because when you can actually train someone to your level or better than you.
And you're setting expectations. And expectations are so important because when things go wrong, you don't have to be a mean person about it. I mean, I was going to say a meanie. You don't have to be a meanie about it. But when things go wrong, you can sit down and go over these expectations again as if they weren't just expected without communication.
Yeah. Like if they sign a contract,
they
need to understand what the brand is about. They need to look at the training. They need to understand how to act on the day because they're representing you. They are an extension of you and the brand. So it's very, very important to hire properly.
Very.
I know sometimes it can be a matter of, you know, I'm desperate and I just need this person to do this job. Yeah. But yeah, for me, I'm like,
you're putting a couple's day on the line and it is a risk. Yeah. If you know the person really well, I guess you can take the risk. Yeah. My biggest thing is like, yes, you want the content to be incredible, but human interaction, like how do they interact with not just the bride and groom, service. Like the bridesmaid that's being frustrating or the groomsman that's got really drunk. How are they interacting with these people? Are they losing their nut? Because that's probably not going to work for my brand. Like,
if the photographer's stepping on their toes, literally, I've had that done before. Not to me, but I've seen a photographer that's. Sorry guys, Maddie just spilled her coffee all over her vest. If you're not watching this,
we're good. God, why does this happen to me? It's not clumsy, it's cutesy. Okay, carry on.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
You spoke it into existence. There you go.
Exactly.
Little stain.
Oh, lucky we bought an outfit change.
Oh my God, you're funny. What was I saying? Yeah, so I've seen like where the second shooter, a photographer who was hired. Actually, the couple kind of hired two photographers. It was a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, that happened to me before.
And the second shooter got so mad because literally the other photographer didn't know that they were going to be there, which apparently they did know, but they just ignored that email from the bride. And then was just literally like stepping on their toes. And then they got into like a bit of a altercation. Not physical, but just like they exchanged words in front of the couple. And I was like, yikes. So
my heartbeat just went up 5 pulses.
It was like cringe. I felt really bad for the couple, but I was like, I also understood where the second shooter was coming from because like the first shooter was not being very nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but behind closed doors, the couple shouldn't know about these problems.
But yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, I digress. When you're training someone, it's either going to be on the job, which I think it should be on the job, but it should be, if you can and you're in the same state, like have a workshop with them, put the time and energy and effort into training them because it's going to come bite you in the ass if you don't. Like don't be lazy with your business.
No. And invest your money.
Pay them.
Yep.
Because you can't book more jobs if it's just you. You can't make more money.
Yeah.
Because you are at capacity. So know what your capacity is.
Would you pay the same rate for a training day as you would for like a wedding day?
I think on training days, so for a trainee, when they're on a job, I pay both the same amount. So that's just a flat rate. But on a training day, it's like half. Because like they're not actually out on a wedding and there's immense pressure and all this stuff and they've got to slog it out and it's, you know, whatever. So when they are training, then I will, pay them like a lesser wage, or like an hourly rate. But it's mainly just because they're sitting there absorbing all the information. But if they're doing the training at home, like it's a new creator and they're watching the workshop, like the incentive is I'm going to pay you more because, you know, if you're here with me, it's a bit of a, I don't know, I think it's more of a psychological thing. Like if you're here, then you're paying more attention. Yeah. And I'm paying, you know, the same hourly rate for 2 hours or 3 hours of a workshop for 15 people. Yeah. So it's not a cheap exercise. No. But we get to interact and there's a lot more that they can get out of it. Whereas if it's someone that's based interstate, I'm going to pay them more because they're doing it by themselves. It's a bit more of a like tedious task. It's a bit more, I guess, boring in that sense because they don't also get to do the interactive part, which we do in the workshops in person. Yeah. But my goal is to go to Melbourne and Sydney and hopefully somewhere in Queensland, maybe Brisbane, to actually do creator trainings in person within the next few months. Yeah. So
that'd be good.
Yeah, I'll be spending more money on flying and paying for accommodation to do the training, to also pay them to come to the training and spend my time on a weekend or a weekday and going interstate. Again,
it's not their brand or their business, so...
And also, if they're over there, interstate, and I'm here, there's more risk because I'm not here to kind of, you know, give them the gadgets and make sure that everything's good or just... I don't know, even though, like, the girls are not... We don't see each other all the time, you know, when they're out on a job. I don't literally see everyone for that weekend beforehand.
8 o'clock that morning.
They may as well be remote. Yeah. But it just feels a bit different. Yeah.
It does feel different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So I was on one of those Facebook groups that you told me to go on for the wedding content creators, just like around the world. And one of them asked about a second shooter and if they should, you know, what do they want to, you know, one of their couples asked if they have a second shooter.
For content.
Yeah. And they said they don't. Well, like they said to the Facebook page, you know, I don't have a second shooter, but this couple's requesting one. Yeah, what do I do? Question. Yeah. And I thought, I can't remember if I replied or not, but my stance on it is if you have the time between now and when that wedding is to train someone, do it. Like say yes. You know, it's
and it doesn't have to start big like these things we're talking about. You can start small. I started in a couple of girls I hired were connections. I knew them and it started from
help me out
conversations on my couch. Like you can start from the bottom.
Yeah, and working with people that you know, I think is a lot more, like some people say like don't hire your friends, but I think don't hire the wrong friends.
Yeah, you got to, and if you've got contracts as well, unfortunately.
Know your friends because, yes, like those things can ruin friendships, but also...
It makes it easier, actually. No, for me, a lot of the girls that I did have on, they were friends, but they were also friends that I've worked with and I know their work ethic. Yes. So I'm like that. I know how they work.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Like my friend Ari works with me in Lexicon and she's been with me for 3 years now. And my business is turning 5, so a decent amount of time. She's been the longest running. Yeah. And she's...
Medal!
Yeah, but she's been my friend for 7 years because she came through and hired a dress from me from my old business back when I was 22.
Wow.
And that's how we met. But I knew her work ethic because we had mutual friends and she worked at, you know, the Football Federation and stuff like that. So she's like a workhorse, okay? She has like 4 different jobs. She's amazing. Wow. And I know that we can still have like a laugh and joke about like Austin Powers, you know, sayings and memes and whatnot. Yeah. And be stupid to each other, but we still get the job done. Yeah. And she gets the job done like I get the job done, which is great. So I think picking, if you're going to find a second shooter that, you know, is the content girly friend of yours or knows how to use a fucking iPhone. Yeah, like just train them up and if they're interested, obviously, too.
Yes.
Has to be mutual. But what I was going to say before is the saying goes, say yes and work it out later.
Yeah.
So if you can, you know, for that instance where she wanted to book, the bride wanted to book a second shooter, number one, get the bride or the couple, I shouldn't say just bride, obviously, get the couple to pay extra for the second shooter. Because if she's requesting it, then she should be paying for it.
Yes.
Whereas if I'm training someone and they're a second shooter on a job, I'm not going to charge the client because they're actually in training, not as a second shooter to go off and do a separate job or whatever it might be to capture something else.
Yeah.
They're literally observing and following around my creator, the lead creator, because they're in training.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to charge the couple. They just get more content and they fucking love it. So there's a difference. So I think that second shooter, if they're requesting it, need to pay for it, and then you can actually pay them, the second shooter, per hour, you know, whatever your rate is, like less than half, I would say, like in terms of your profit margins. It depends on what you want to make.
I do a little bit, the way my business is at the moment, I do the second shooter a little bit lower than the lead. And I guess there's pros and cons to both. Like
in terms of paying them their rate?
Their rate, yeah. So, because it's the rate set in the contract is like if you're starting out as a trainee or if you're starting out as a lead, which you probably wouldn't start out as a lead, but I feel like that helps the lead take on more of like a leadership role in my business at the moment.
It's in the word.
Yeah. Leader.
No, so true. I agree with that. Yeah. What do you think about that situation, like with that chick? So do you reckon that she should take it? That the Facebook group.
Oh, yes. Like, what are we talking about? Yes. I 100% agree with the not being stupid and saying yes to massive things if you physically don't think you can do it. But if you've got the self-belief and you know that you will make it happen, because I feel like you and I are the same person. Like, if we say something, we're going to make it happen. Like, we're not going to go back on our word. So if you fully believe you can do that, do it. And then fix it later. Figure it out later.
Figure it out. And I think that also forces you to figure it out.
Yeah.
And put yourself into an uncomfortable discomfort, not in the bad way, but
you need to be uncomfortable to grow.
Just like what we were saying before.
Yeah. Everything comes back around. Full circle.
All ties back together. So good.
So good.
Amazing. So delegating.
You never went through the phase of making all the reels, did you?
No fucking way. No fucking way. Ain't nobody got time for that. So when I was training them in capturing the content, so I kind of, my mindset around it is always shoot with the end in mind. So shoot with the reel that you want to create in your mind from the get-go, because it's going to dictate
so much difference.
All of the content you capture. So if you're capturing really well and you're capturing the frame, the details, the florals, the fucking whatever it is, you need stuff for the romantic edit, you need stuff for the overview, you need stuff for the first look or the reaction or whatever. Those are all going to dictate what your content's going to be 100%. Because how can you create the edit without the content?
I know.
Obviously.
For the trainees, I feel like for them that should be said, but also in my case, I also did tell them to capture everything, because then I can see what they're like struggling with or what they do different, and then I can let them know, look, that's not something I would do but it worked well, or that's not something I would do, don't ever do that again. But not in a mean way.
Don't ever fucking do that again.
But sometimes it's really cool and I'm like, I never looked at it like that, but other times it's like
do it in a different way. Yeah, exactly right. So I think there's creative license there, obviously, but when they're starting out, you have to give as much information as possible and as many parameters as you want to. But again, you can't, this is also the thing with letting go of control. Super fun. I was never like that. Like, talk to me 5 years ago.
Nope.
No one was doing anything if I wasn't doing it. Like, it was kind of this weird complex.
Imagine if you
we
weren't doing
have.
that 5 years ago, and then like, do you ever think about where you would be now if we weren't like that back then?
I'm glad that I didn't do
Yeah.
this 5 years ago because,
If
well,
shit could have hit the fan.
well, this was barely a thing 2 years ago, so the education around the space was
Yeah, this is like
so much
This
work.
is the start of like our education, pretty much. Like we had no education.
There was
going
no
into it.
education. That's why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, it was very
because-
closed doors. Like not much. I think I maybe messaged a couple people.
God, I knew like 5 creators.
How weird that the two people
That's
that
it.
support each other the most were in the same fucking state. Imagine if we had to like
God.
travel to see each other.
Dead.
Dead. So lucky.
But yeah, just delegating is not easy if you've
Yeah.
never done it before. So be kind to yourself because it's not like letting go is very hard for some people. I think some people are really easy to do because they have this trust factor.
Yeah. It
but-
takes a certain point in your business though.
Yeah, and in your personal growth, and you know what another thing I always say, your personal growth will never outgrow your business growth. Like your personal mindset will never outgrow your business mindset. Does that make sense?
That sounds like it should be in my book.
So, letting go of that control is, it's part of your mindset. So your personal growth and your personal mindset is never going to outgrow your business mindset. It's never going to excel past it because you literally can't. You can't be an amazing business owner and be fucked
Yeah.
in the head.
Yes, 100%.
Such a nice way to put it.
You cannot. It just cannot happen.
Can't. It's going to be, it's kind of like,
It's like
what
the law
was
of
the
attraction.
analogy?
It's not.
There's an analogy of a pot and a plant.
Oh, well, I'm excited.
Okay,
for this.
so the pot is your personal growth. Okay, so imagine there's a plant in this pot, and you've planted the plant, obviously, and it's a small plant at first, and it starts to expand. The plant is your business. The pot is your personal growth. So yeah, it's you.
Yeah.
So then your business starts to grow and expand, and it, when you put a new plant and you repot it in a bigger pot, then it starts to grow and expand, and there's more abundance, and there's more. You add more soil, you nurture it, you nourish it. It's this like constant expansion, right?
Yes.
But it has limits. There's parameters because the pot is only so big.
Yes.
So your plant, your business, will only grow to the edges of your personal growth and mindset, okay?
Yeah.
To the
I
pot.
love this.
So when you feel like you've exceeded your business, or you're at your kind of capacity, or you're at this expansion of like, okay, I'm kind of like, maybe a couple of years past and you're like, I'm kind of stuck. Or there's plateaus or whatever, which is not a bad thing because if you're not losing money, then that's good.
Yeah.
But you might feel like I'm not growing anymore. Why is that? And then you can look at the pot, which is you, to go, okay, how can I create expansion in myself? And where are my blockages? Where are my limiting beliefs? What is the language I'm saying to myself?
And at that point where you need to grow is going to be the hardest point to grow because financially, emotionally, physically, whatever it is going to be, you're going to be like, heck no, I can't do that. And if that's what you're thinking, do it. Like you need to.
Yeah, because where the uncomfortableness is where the growth is. Again, I'll say it again.
Yep.
Really harboring that one in today.
Nail it in.
But yeah, so then you can expand your pot, make your pot bigger, replant, whatever, the analogy, how it's going here. Replant the business into the newer, bigger
Into a
pot.
swimming pool. And
Into a swimming pool, yeah. So however big the pot is you, and that's how much your business is going to grow. It's never going to exceed, it's never going to overflow.
No.
Okay. So my point of this whole analogy is if you can't let go, of control, then in your personal life and how your brain works, how are you going to do that in your business?
Exactly.
Yeah, fucking not.
It's not happening.
It's not happening. So those are the things you need to now, if you're in this as a creator, if you're looking to train new people and expand your business and look at new ways and bigger ways of making money.
Yeah.
And growing your capacity and becoming the boss, not the worker. This is where the shift happens.
Yes.
But it's very mental. It's a mental game. It's the brain game.
It's very tricky. And it's not going to be easy all the time.
Yeah, and you're going to come up across issues. You're going to come across your own limiting beliefs. You're going to come across people that
other
you're
people's
working
limiting
with.
beliefs. Like
Exactly.
that was actually, I was going to mention that before. Like knowing the line between when someone says to you, "I'm not ready," to like knowing that they are, but then they're not ready to see it yet, and how you're going to help them get out of that headspace, or if they're not going to grow anymore. Like it's just
they are stuck.
They're stuck, yeah. And like how much do you input yourself in their life to try and fix those things, or how much do you try promote the business and like build the brand and help them see their worth and everything? It's so tricky.
You can't force someone to do it either.
No.
Yeah. So it's this mental gymnastics
that
you're going to be playing.
So you'll save physical labor, but you'll probably increase in like brain labor.
Brain labor.
Yeah.
So that's my hot take on delegating.
Yeah.
It's not easy when you have never done it before.
Yeah. But it is worthwhile. It is easier than not delegating all the time.
Yeah. Sorry about the noise in the background, by the way. It's bin day. So we're just working with it. This is not our normal podcasting day, so we're all good here. So the last thing I think we should touch on is if you are a sole trader or you have your own business, it's just you for your content business, and you don't want to hire someone new, or there's not enough work to go around, that's fine. But you want to work with, or you've been approached by someone who also has a wedding content business, how to work together. So whether that is a referral system or being able to lean on them like with photographers, it happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't really know what happens in the photography world if you just...
Do you mean like associate shooting, or they take you just give them the full job?
Either.
Okay.
So what's associate shooting, if you can explain to our audience?
So when you just get someone from another business. So just say like one of my creators had their own business, getting them to come on and shoot a wedding for the whole day but not take any credit for it, really.
So
they just do the job. Yeah.
Okay. So that's one way to do it. And then another way is just to give them the referral and not take any of the credit for it, basically, or the money. Yeah. So
for them, the pros would be getting paid and not having to do any of the... but no, because would you still do all the editing if they associate shot for you? Because that's in photography, that's how it works. So with associate shooting...
They just shoot and then you
they
edit.
shoot and dump.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So they're just getting paid to be there on the day. Yeah, which is cheaper. So you could do it that way, and you could edit. I feel like I would maybe edit if I got them just to shoot content for me. But I haven't. I've done that in the past where I had a creator from Sydney, white label for me. So I was dealing with the couple. They were actually getting married in Canberra. This was beautiful. Late last year. Yeah. So they got married in Canberra. Sydney's obviously closest to Canberra, not Adelaide. Yeah. So I got my creator from Sydney. She got flown over, so the flights got paid for, and the accommodation for one night at the hotel that they were having the reception at, paid for. And then she flew out the next day. She did the edits as well. So I made sure that she knew in my brief every single detail and how exactly I wanted the edits done to a T, literally down to the song and how I wanted. I gave her so many examples, and she did really well. She did a really good job. But yes, you need to give, if you're working with someone who's white labeling under you, they're an extension of your business. Yes. So
because like when the couple's signing creators, up for your you
brand,
can do quality control, but if it's white labeling, it's a bit trickier.
Yeah. So when you're talking to the couple, they're paying for your business to do it, blah blah blah, there's a certain level of expectation and reputation and style that they're wanting from you. Right. So obviously you're going to tell them it's not you on the job, because when someone else rocks up and they're like, who the fuck are you? On my wedding day. So
that was also another reason why I built the brand and grew
exactly. And it's like, oh, it's not Maddie.
It's not me.
Hi, Maddie. Like, oh,
not Maddie.
Not me.
I'm Sammy.
Yeah. So I think be really picky if you're going to get someone as a content creator to white label under you and help you out. Obviously they're going to get paid less than if they were dealing with the client directly, so it depends on what they want as well. So you have to come up with a contract for them and a hourly rate that you both agree on. Yes. So that can be a bit more of a back and forth situation. So more work for you. But again, it's something like if you didn't get the job, like you couldn't say yes to that job because you're either busy or you can't do it, whatever.
Yeah.
So what are the pros and cons for you? That's what you have to weigh up. And then the other thing is if they're, you're referring them, you could have a referral system if you wanted to, like a finder's fee, like a blanket fee that you have to prior agree on again. Yeah. There might be a contract in place for that. I'm not sure if photographers do something like a finder's fee.
I do it a little bit with a couple of suppliers.
Or it's more of a community thing.
Yeah,
it
a little
depends.
bit of community thing. Yeah. Yes, mine's not very big. I just like a couple of trusted supplier network thing. Yeah.
Like I've referred for Europe weddings for this year. I've referred clients or couples to other businesses that I know will do well for them because I was going to do actually the white labeling.
Yes.
And it was way too hard.
It's complicated.
For Europe, there's so many more logistics.
Considering how much trouble we had working in Europe when it was us doing the job, it's like, it is tricky. That would be really hard.
I think you need to be directly talking to the person that's going to be doing your content.
And
obviously.
Things change in a minute in Europe. Like it's like...
And I'm here and they're over there and it's midnight or 3 a.m. and they're having their wedding.
Yeah.
And something happens and I can't control it because I'm all the way over here and... whatever, it's a reflection of me again. So it's risky.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? It's actually easier for everyone if I just pass on the details and the information and they honour like the payment package because this couple was pretty like happy with the payment that they were going to make. So I referred to a creator, the couple, and I think they're going well. I don't know, I haven't got an update, but literally just left it with them and I can wipe my hands clean and I don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
But no finder's fee or anything like that. But next year I think what I'll do is become a bit of a directory for Europe leads because we got like 50 Europe leads this year, like inquiries, which was great, but a lot harder if I'm not the one doing it because they're like, I'm signing up for you and you're not going because I'm getting married.
Yes.
So it's just a bit much. So next year I might do a finder's fee if I'm passing on those things.
That makes sense.
Over to the other brand that's not going to work under me basically. Yeah. Otherwise then you could charge
because then they post to their page.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So then they own the content, they keep it, blah blah, and I make a little bit of money. It's kind of like a passive income, I guess, in a
referral
way. System, yeah. Or I could go and do all the work, all the admin, and make sure that everything is good with the couple, get them to meet with a creator online, whatever, and make the margin off of the package after what I'm paying the creators to do hourly rate.
50 leads for Europe is massive. Like that just processed in my brain. I'm like, that is so exciting.
Yeah, it was really good. And I did put money into ads, and that's a thing that I guess with the finder's fee it would just help pay for. It just helps pay for.
Well, let me know when I go to Europe. I'll join on the directory.
Next year. I do. I really do.
We're on tour next year. Did I not tell you?
We're on tour. I actually I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, if I go, because I don't know when I'm going on my honeymoon.
Yeah. Perfect.
So we might go to Europe on our honeymoon. If we don't, and we just do like a Fiji, Maldives situation.
Fiji. Our friend just went to Fiji, and the whole time I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So I don't know if we do that in like December, January this year after our wedding.
Do you like the like relax vibes the whole time, or do you like mix between relax and nightlife and pool parties and stuff?
I don't know. I think we'll just want to do fucking nothing.
Yeah.
Joshua's been working so hard lately. Yeah. And it's only May.
You both have.
I think we just need to do absolutely fuck all, basically. So that would be really nice. So and rather, Europe's a bit cray-cray when you're traveling in between all these different places, and it's amazing, but it's also fucking exhausting. Like, yeah. So I think maybe working in Europe next year could be sick. So maybe we should try and do like a little duo situation. So cool. Because it's better traveling with someone than by yourself.
Absolutely.
Oh, Joshua, he would, but it depends if we can pay for him. Both. And
well, if you're listening,
he has time off of work.
Oh, that's Robbie's problem too.
He doesn't work for himself. He's the only one that doesn't work for himself in this foursome.
Yeah. So. Not yet. Does he want to?
Eventually, I think. But I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
He hasn't got time to think about it.
He's too busy.
Poor doll. That's kind of the last thing I want to touch on. Do you want to...
I just thought of something as well. Sorry.
Yes. Can you tell us about this book, please?
Self-care.
Book sitting here.
So for my first training day, I bought all the content creators a self-care book because I was like, I feel like that
You're
really,
so cute.
it's the brand. And there's some things in here. It's just from Kmart, but there's some things that are actually really good, like get out of nature, like the power of Mother Nature. There's little quotes throughout. To walk through nature is to witness 1,000 miracles. Create a positive playlist, sing at the top of your lungs. Like, there's just so many things. So go to Kmart and buy this book if you are a content creator and want to hire content creators. It's great.
Self-care.
Self-care. Hashtag Kmart. But yeah, I wanted to touch on bringing girls on and like, because it's not everyone understands, like I know I didn't when I first came in, the whole them needing their own business or like ABN to like
yes,
come on, and then
in Australia, yeah,
in America it could be very different. I think it's like, what's the word? I do know it. It's in my guide. No, whatever. It's like a NLP. No, it's like a number. Yeah, it's very similar.
What's it called?
It's not an NLP. No. I don't know why I'm thinking
of. It's like their tax number.
Yeah.
Something service. What's it called? And people can like steal it for like identity theft and shit. Oh my god, what's it called?
I don't know. Forgotten. It's left my
Sorry
brain.
to all the US listeners.
Sorry, that's not coming back. Leave a comment. Let us know what it is.
You know what it is, and you're probably screaming it right now. Like,
yeah.
This. Why don't you know what it is?
We're just here. So how that whole process works. You're gonna have to yours would have already had them if they were contracting.
I had to get all the newbies that come on board. I'm like, you have to get an ABN. They're like, okay,
and then you pay them.
It's like what, $150?
Yeah, it's not expensive.
It's tax deductible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
and invoicing.
Yeah, and they have to invoice
you are a tax-paying citizen.
Yes.
Yeah. So, do they invoice you for their time? Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And you pay them, and then they have to keep record of it. It's not your responsibility, but they have to keep record of it if they are contracting out to you.
Because especially if they have another job as well.
Yeah.
Because it all adds up.
Yeah, and they'll talk to their tax agent about it. But if you're doing the right thing on your end and paying them, and you have the receipts, you have the invoices, then you're pretty good otherwise.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
That's it.
Amazing.
Yay.
That's episode 11.
Hope it was helpful. I feel like there was a lot of helpful stuff in there.
Yeah, I thought this wouldn't be a long one, but it was.
And then not the next one, but the one after, or maybe the one after that, will be after my training day, so we can chat more about how it works.
Next week.
Next week. Yeah.
Because we're doing weekly for the minute.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So we'll talk about that in episode 13.
Hopefully. Yes.
Yeah.
The actual training days, tomorrow's the finalisation of the training day. So the actual training day is in a couple of weeks. So it might be a couple down the track.
Okay.
Yeah.
So episode 15.
Watch this space.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Okay, cool.
Ciao.
We are off to do our next episode.
I was like, did she forget to do the kiss goodbye?
We're off. Okay. The kiss goodbye. We didn't even do that on purpose.
Know.
It was just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Bye.
Have an amazing day. Wait, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Yeah, you do your
Let's do the thingy.
You're better at it.
If you have a listener question, obviously we just did our listener question episode 10 and that went off really well. We got lots of great feedback for that. So if you have a question, please email us or DM us. So you can leave a voice note in the DMs or a long message. Yeah, exactly. It's all anonymous.
Yeah.
Or you can send us an email at behindthecontentpod@gmail.com, or you can message us on Instagram or TikTok, which we are yet to do that much of. Off-season things.
It's coming.
The handle is at behindthecontent.pod. So hit us up on there. Let us know if you love these episodes. We would love to hear your feedback because we thrive on the attention and
positive attention.
We need the feedback, I think, because we're now.
It's so fresh. Deep. We want to know if it's helping.
Yes, yeah. And please tell us what you love and don't love about it. So, yeah, with kindness.
With kindness.
Good. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.